You know, if you were to actually maybe just shadow Zain for a day, or follow me, you'll find that we don't have everything figured out. You know, that's not why we're moving. It's not because we figured out everything and we have all the steps that we need to take. You know, you'll actually find out that, you know, we're actually quite a mess. I don't know about you, but personally myself, my mom still scolds me for not making up the bed. You know, why don't you put the clothes in your cupboard? I iron for you already. You know, you try to change the world, but you cannot even change your house. Yeah, true story, right? So it's a challenge, you know. Another huge challenge is that as an entrepreneur, you're trying to carve new paths and new directions. That means that there are no markers or pointers to tell you if you're doing the right thing to reach the destination of your choice. It's hard to count on experts or professionals at times because they know it all. And they're so familiar with the stereotype outcomes that if anything is beyond normal, they'll say it's wrong. You know, but we all know that the entrepreneur's journey is not one where we try to follow the status quo. We're actually trying to define new things. Did you know that when J.K. Rowling finally finished her manuscript, it took 1 whole year, 2 agents, 12 publishers before a little publishing firm called Bloomsbury accepted her work? It's crazy because everyone overlooked the work and said that it had no potential. Little did they know that this little child's book would be worth $21 billion. That's just for films alone. And for your books, it's $15 billion. You know, I think a lot of them will be cursing and not being able to sleep. They probably committed suicide and all. It's important for an entrepreneur to stay true to his path, even though there might be no markers. However, how do we know whether we are going the right way? We don't know it fully, but there are certain things that we can follow, certain guides. It's like how an explorer used to guide themselves back then when they were sailing. You know, they followed the stars. So these are, I just wanted to share with you my 3 guides, my 3 stars, basically my values and principles, that even if the plan does not go according to however it was planned, I know I am where I'm supposed to be. So these are 3: humility, courage, and faithfulness. Number 1, humility. I believe that people come first, money later. While many people think that life, the race is a race upwards. You know, we climb ladders, we climb hills, we climb mountains. That's always the epitome of success. I choose to take a more paradoxical approach. I believe, my mother calls it descending into greatness. I believe that true entrepreneurs look to serve others with their lives, taking upon themselves immense risk and most times surfing against the current to make the world a better place. They say that a true person's potential shows when the stakes are really high. And I think the stakes cannot be any higher when the future of humanity rests on your shoulders. And now you're probably thinking, wow, you mean you're going to change the world? I believe all of us are in our own little way. And you should take life in that manner. That indeed the world rests on your shoulders and you are responsible for that. I believe that through this as well, great ideas are born. I've never been so hungry for knowledge. I've never been so inspired personally as I was in this whole journey that I'm taking. Previously, I was just like anybody else. Actually, probably even worse. I didn't do very well in my exams. I couldn't even make it in college the first time I tried. But I had a bad attitude. Because why? I was still trying to chase the same things that everybody else was trying to chase. And I knew deep down within me that it didn't make sense. But ever since I realized that it's not about you and what you achieve, but it's about the people and how you can serve them. It's as though a lid has been lifted and ideas are just flowing, endlessly. Sorry, it didn't work. Okay. I believe that true entrepreneurs do not only operate within the paradigm of profit and loss in terms of money, but more importantly of time. Time equals life. I don't believe time equals money, but time equals life, which is way more precious than money. True entrepreneurs look to trade their lives for a legacy. The aim is not for riches, but for greatness. And riches is merely just a companion for greatness. Which brings us to my next guiding principle, which is called courage, which is the power to overcome fear, even though we know it exists and the dangers are there, and to do what is right. Fear of failure. In tackling a new venture, we face many questions. What if someone has done the same thing we've done already? What if my plan fails? What if I try for 5 years to carry out this work? And 5 years later, my plan actually does not work. What do I do then? There's a lot of what ifs and what ifs. True failure is not when you try and you miss the mark. I believe that true failure is when you never try at all. Personally, I believe that in this journey, in actually just trying itself, I've learned so much. I've managed to network with the people in the corridors of power. I've managed to network with people, the top CEOs and top movers and shakers in corporate industry. So many doors have been opened to me. And I'm very, very sure, personally, that, and this isn't something I just say to myself to comfort myself at night, but I really believe that if this doesn't go through, that there will be many other doors open to me as well. So let me just illustrate two. So that's the fear of failure. That's the first fear that we have to overcome with courage. Secondly, there's the fear of making a decision. This is one fear that a lot of us face. Some of us refuse to admit it, but all of us face it. All of us have the same fear. The problem with that is being in an idle state, when it's not doing anything, breeds fear. The solution to overcoming fear is action, and action gives you courage. See, the way I look at life is that life is like an endless corridor of veils, right? And you'll never know what's on the other side unless you take that step forward to move to the other side. And you'll realize that after doing so, it wasn't that bad after all. Every time you go to the next side, you grow. It might not be your exact target, but it is somewhere. It's at least progress. And so, in order to progress in action, one must make a decision. This is one of the biggest problems, also because we are from a consumerist society, where we have a lot of choices. What if I buy my T-shirt now in this shop, and I walk to the next one and they have a better discount? I think all of us face that. But you see, life, I believe that the entrepreneur journey is not about, it's not about having the best choice or the best option all the time. It's just about doing the right thing, the right choices, and just making them, and just going ahead and seeing what comes out from it. And that is why I think I agree with Zain. He's saying earlier that it's not like you have the whole plan figured out, but you just go step by step and see what decisions you have to make in each step as you go. So it's like, if you don't make a decision, it's like being in the middle of two boats, having both legs on separate boats, right? And these boats represent life. Life moves, it does not wait for anybody. And so if you do not make a decision either to go left or to go right, then you're just going to be doing the split, and that hurts. That really hurts. And so we, especially as young people, we must know how to make decisions and stay true to it. Also, if you do not make your own decisions, that shows that we are not ready to take on life. That we're not ready to be responsible for our own actions, to be accountable for decisions that we make. We will constantly be playing this blame game where the government, they're not doing enough for me. If only my parents did not force me to do accounting with ACCA. If only my society did not dictate to me that Just because I took science stream, I must become a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer. But you constantly be playing that blame game. And when you blame someone else for your decision, or really your actions, you do not learn anything from it because there is no reference point to go back to. So you have to take that step. Plus, I think there is an expiry date in blaming your parents for putting you in the wrong direction. Faithfulness, that's the third guiding principle. That's belief plus commitment. Now that you've made a decision, there needs to be commitment and a strong belief for something to come to pass. There's no such thing as instant success. Life is not an event, but a process, or rather an endless road of events and processes and events and processes and events and processes and processes, processes and processes. It gets very tiring. So how do we stay motivated? It's very, very easy to start something. However, following through and finishing the deed is the real challenge. Growth as well as a painful process, where often it seems to last forever. And like the stories earlier, will only make sense after you've done it. It only makes sense after it's done, after you've succeeded or you failed. But if you don't do it, then there never will be a story. People always wonder, how long? How long until I become successful? Tell me what's the secret to success? What's the average time? Is it 3 years or is it 5 years? If I do this work for 5 years, will I be successful? Can I reach $1 million in 3 years? People, we tend to ask this kind of questions, I think, because that's just the way you're programmed. But there is no right answer, there is no fixed answer to the duration of it. The only answer I have is that you got to stay faithful and committed to that mission that you set out to do. Because if you don't do that, if you did not decide to do that, then you will not learn, and you will not see everything that you're learning, that you're supposed to learn in the midst of the journey as well. It'll basically be like, I call it the classroom clock syndrome. You put a clock in front of your classroom, and if you're in a hurry to go, and every time you look at the clock, it seems like it's taking forever. Now, how many of you actually experience that when you're in school, right? So it's like nobody actually knows the right answer, but we just got to do it anyways, because we have to believe in our cause. If we don't believe in it, then we wouldn't have made the decision to commit to it. There is a difference, however, in being faithful and just merely committed. Often, many people only plan not to fail. Okay, this is a lesson I just learned as well. We put in so much effort trying not to fail that when we actually reach success, we don't know what to do. It's like, for instance, this a business presentation, right? If you go to an investor and you put so much effort so you don't screw up, so that you present your idea properly, and all that, overcoming all that fears, and finally when you actually make that presentation a success, and then investor comes up to you and says, okay, I'm not going to wait 1 month or 2 months for you. I'm just going to give you a blank check right now, and you tell me how much you need. And most of us are going to be like, I think your target is probably 5,000. They'll be like, maybe 7.5 thousand. Okay, can. But you don't know. What if you could ask for $1 million and he will still give it to you? Most of us don't prepare that way. But I think to be faithful to something isn't merely about just enduring something and riding it, but it's about pursuing it, moving forward, planning the next steps as though it's going to be a success. So, in conclusion, basically I believe that by following these 3 points on top of your world-class idea, you should just keep moving forward, right? Concentrate on giving value back to the people. Stay courageous in the face of adversity, because it doesn't last. And be faithful to the mission that you set out for yourself, because life is a journey. And you'll find that epic things can happen to you. So what's next for Epic? Well, besides Epic Homes, which is one of our projects, the main thing that we're working on right now is a web platform. And we'll be launching it in its beta version real soon. And we will need your help in launching that. Basically, it's a platform where people from all over Malaysia can leverage off each other to make great things happen. Basically, we crowdsource money, volunteers, And not only does it do that, but you'll be able to share your stories with people, and at the same time, you can get rewarded for it as well. Basically, ultimately what we're trying to do through this whole thing is to come up with a quantifiable measure for people's efforts in doing good deeds. So that's quite a crazy ambition. It's never been done before, but we are trying it anyways. We call it the Epic Army, and yeah, it'll be out soon. So keep looking out for it. We also would need people who are willing to help or gain experience. So I'm just putting it out there. You can see me later, or some teammates over there if you're interested. Basically, choosing the path of an entrepreneur will be tough, heartbreaking. Sometimes it can get very, very lonely. But if you were to join me on this road, I think you should hear this. And it's summed up by one of the world's greatest innovators, Walt Disney. Basically, he says, it's kind of fun to do the impossible. That's all. Thank you.
We have a short Q&A session. So I just wanted to ask you, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Those kinds of questions. Actually, those are the most scary questions. What if I dare say it? I think we want to be at least regional in 5 years. Our goal for Epic Homes is that while building this village up with its 20 houses, that we'll be able to come up with the ideal design for the volunteer-powered building system that can be replicated throughout Southeast Asia, because we find that a lot of disasters are happening around our area, and because of that. Yeah, and because of that, we realized that we wanted to be the best, I guess, in terms of post-disaster situation building systems. That's for Epic Homes, and for Epic Army, yeah, we want Asia, basically, 5 years.
How can we join?
Sorry?
How can we join? Facebook?
Yes, actually, go to Facebook, facebook.com/epicarmy. Is that right, Jay? Yeah. So, facebook.com/epicarmy.
Look, that's better. Yeah, so basically, actually, if you want to, even Zain, if he registers his flash mob through our system, and you actually participate, you can get rewarded for it as well, as long as it's attached to some cause. It is, of course, right? Unity. So yeah, that's it.
You mentioned that you just started as just a small idea.
Yeah.
So when did you get serious about it? When do you think like, hey, this is
Well,
a good idea?
to be very honest, we only just got serious about it. We started in 2009, and I think 2010 was really just finding ourselves and experiencing as much as we could. And this year is the year where we just decided, okay, we're going to be serious about it. Because of that, we recently just registered a new company. It's called Epic Collaborative, and that's where all this epic stuff would happen. We're no longer operating under Growing Emerging Leaders, because that's left aside for leadership training and team building and personal development.
All right, thanks for the questions. Anybody got any questions?
Is the Epic Army thing already on the net? Maybe on the shop site?
Not really.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Questions from the audience?
All right. How exactly do you make money?
How exactly do I make money? Well, I'm actually, if you know, could you tell me later how to do it? Well, we have some plans. For instance, the Epic Homes project. We will actually charge companies to do team building. What we do is we get facilitators on board, we put a whole program together, we organize the event for you, where there's accommodation, food, and all that kind of stuff, and we charge for that. You know, we were set up as a social enterprise and not a charity. So we were trying to come from a different angle where it's not about charity first, please come help this guy, he's so poor thing, give your money. Rather than that, we're trying to add value to whatever that you're doing, and at the same time show you that through whatever you're doing, business, law, whatever it is, you can still make a difference. For the Epic Army, we hope that basically through the rewards, we're going to get companies to use that as a marketing advertising tool, but at the same time to inspire and to motivate people to do more good stuff. Yeah. That's the plan. I'm not sure if it works. You can join and find out.
Any more questions? Yes.
Okay, you made a point just now where you say time is life. And I've heard a lot of entrepreneurs say that when you ask them questions like, oh, what are your working hours? They say like 9 to 5, like anybody else, they say, usually I work 24 hours. Before you sleep, you're thinking about work. When you wake up, you're thinking about what you're going to do. And you also said that being an entrepreneur was tough and heartbreaking. And it's okay if you share with us, like, what kind of sacrifices have you had to make so far to get where you are? How do you maintain a balance in your life with family and everything else that you do?
Are you planted? It is very, very tough to find a balance. I'm still struggling. Like I said earlier, I can't even seem to find the energy or time to make my bed. And it's really, it's true that it is a 24-hour sort of thing where before you sleep, you're thinking about the ideas, whether it'll work or not. When you're in the toilet, you're thinking about your idea as well. You're thinking about how can I maximize people's potential to help make the idea happen. The sacrifices, I think right now, in retrospect, it's not really sacrifices, but back then, it was. Like I said, I'm like a lot of you. I used to party a lot. A lot. I'm a huge fitness enthusiast as well. And so I used to rock climb. I love the outdoors. I used to train almost 5-6 times a week. But I guess that's the worst sacrifice I have to make, because I put on quite a bit of kilos since I started. But in view of everything that's happening right now, I think I couldn't ask for any other alternative for lifestyle. Does that answer your question?
Any more questions from the audience? Yeah, I have a question. Can you imagine working for somebody else?
Well, at the moment, no. I think I've reached a point where I've accepted myself with this idea that it will work, and that there is no other way but to do this until I find out whether it succeeds or it fails. Yeah, so I don't see myself working for anybody just yet. I do have a part-time job though, as a research assistant with BCSI. Yeah, but I guess I'm considering it a real job. No, I wouldn't.
Yes?
There are other causes and stuff like that, so why
Okay. Actually, what Epic... Okay, I forgot to give you a background about Epic, what we're trying to do. What Epic wants to do is get the masses, the uninvolved, people who actually want to make a difference but don't know where to go. We want to get you involved with public servitude by making it as fun as possible. So we're not really just concentrating on one cause. For Epic Homes, right now, the focus is still orang asli, but later on we'll move on to rural poor and whoever else that needs help. But why we started off with orang asli was two reasons. One, because we knew a guy that was helping the orang asli people. That was the first person we approached, and he had a worthy cause. And then in retrospect, we rationalized later that it makes sense that it should be the orang asli people, because I believe that this is their land and they deserve a lot, but at the same time they've been taken advantage of. And so that is why we are really passionate about building this relationship together with them, because I think they're very misunderstood. And at the same time, we are misunderstood with them as well. And so And so it's important to establish this relationship where we tell them that we have their backs as well. That if anything were to happen to them, they at least have an outlet to go to.
I have a question for Zain.
Yep.
You have a lot of crazy ideas, like crazy ideas that just zoom past you, and you sit on the train, you get ideas, How do you translate those ideas into something to materialize those ideas? Like your inspirations and whatnot. How does it come about? How does it actually go into the plan, into the works?
Okay. No more is the office. Extras, Ricky Gervais, something like that. You sit in the actor studio and you watch this bit of the best time an idea is when it's in your head. The moment you start trying to take it out is when it starts getting moving. And people always blame clients and partners, and actually when you start taking it out. Anyway, thank you for asking the question. So how do I materialize it? Normally when I get ideas, and I like what Johnson is doing, is enabling people, right? Only when I get ideas, which happens quite a lot. Some are good ones, some are rubbish. But the point is, I will only have a close circle of friends which I want to talk about. Close circle of friends which I always rely on, and I go to them and I run these ideas by them. And they're almost always never negative. Sometimes I think they're just listening to just kind of shut me up, just to let Zain let go of his energy and then he'll drop it or whatever. So I just run it by a close group of friends, and then once I get their take and their buy-in, and then I pursue to start running it later. Now to take it to Johnson's perspective, enabling people, and not just supporting groups, but enabling them. And it's now instead of this guy working for me and I'm the leader, why not I make him the leader? And that's the recent approach we've done with Runner of Birds, which is instead of me running by these 4 people let's run to, the previous project and this upcoming one, I bring it everyone to the process. No more my 4 close people, I kind of discarded them and say, you can join this big group and you all part of this big group. So what I do is that I have this idea, and I map it out, I just a bit, map it all the way, and I pull in everyone, pull the resources I have, and I talk to them, and they develop. The last project we did was in July. It was called Fake Water Gunfight. The idea, when I brought it to this group, and Attila and some, I don't know if anyone else was in my house at night, 15 people crammed into my living room. And I told them the idea. Within half an hour, they almost killed my idea and developed it to something else. What happened in the end was, there was a traffic jam in Jalan Bintang. After 6 weeks, 5 weeks of planning, during the traffic jam in Jalan Bintang, 10 people came out with water guns and did urban warfare in the middle of Bintang. There was no water involved, and we did everything that we could do to make sure safety was covered. Nobody felt harmed. Everybody actually was laughing, looking at it, and it was brilliant. 40 people was involved, 4 weeks of intense planning, and we planned everything to the T. I'm not an easy person to work with when it comes to detailed planning. She can attest to that. But pull your resources together. Just pull your resources together. When I say resource, I don't mean money, your brain, time, your friends you have. I particularly learned how humble he was during his his intro, especially his intro. And I told you earlier that I don't want to talk about my results in university. It was not good. But during the early parts of my university, I was in the dean's list. And I hated that because it made me very arrogant. Because naturally, I am an arrogant person. And I like pulling these people in to discuss my ideas in the initial stages, because when they kill my idea, it kills my arrogance, and I like it so much. But the point is, it's amazing to what level it brings you, and from there so many other ideas can work. And from there I noticed many people in that team are now enabled and working on their own projects without even my support or anyone else's support. So to go back to the question, it's about, I just start a bit, I don't want to develop too much on my own, bring the team together and develop from there.
Alright, I believe we are going to play a game now. No game. Okay, we're not going to play a game. Let me just introduce our next speaker. We'll be playing a video first. This is his latest project called Unila.
Salam sejahtera. Seperti anda, saya seorang rakyat Malaysia dan saya cintakan negara kita ini. Malaysia sebuah negara yang cukup indah, tapi ada macam-macam masalah. Tak perlulah saya sebutkan kerana saya pasti kita semua tahu apa masalah-masalah ini. Apa yang saya nak sebutkan ialah masa depan negara kita terletak di tangan kita sendiri. Jadi jika anda masih belum mendaftar sebagai pengundi, sila lakukan secepat mungkin. Dan jika anda sudah mendaftar, mari kita mengundi. Ingatlah, walau apa pun terjadi, Malaysia ini negara anda. Ia negara kita. Ia memang banyak masalah. Malaysia perlukan kita semua.
投票这个东西道理特别简单，国家就是公司，我们就是老板，我们出钱请每年就来帮我们管，工作态度好不好，我们自己判断，反正最大的权利就在我们手上，觉得工人不错，我们就给回昂，要不然就赶快叫他打包回家，把他掉落，反正大把人想上班。问题啦，jangan tidur，问题啦，jangan diam-diam，问题啦，tidak ada bos，问题啦，setelah，问题啦，jangan tidur，问题啦，jangan diam-diam，问题啦，tidak ada bos，问题啦，setelah。Lu kata lu sayang ini negara, tapi sekali mengundi pun tak ada. Jadi jangan kau cuba